right to it. Congressman Greg Steube from House Ways and Means. New York Post columnist Miranda Devine joins us tonight. It's good to see you. Congressman, how can an FBI director refuse to turn over documents alleging corruption by then Vice President Biden?
Yeah, because he's working for President Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. And what the FBI should be doing is working for the American people, regardless of the party in power, regardless of who the president is. They should be about justice and about fairness. And unfortunately, they're going to try to delay all of this as long as humanly possible to give information that Congress is rightly and duly authorized to receive. It's not classified information. And our chairman has reviewed it, and he's refusing, Director Wray's refusing to give that information to Congress, and he should be held in contempt for it.
Miranda, what the congressman just said, what do you think? President Biden, the allegation is he was engaged in a $5 million bribery scheme in the summer of 2020 after he left the Obama White House. And this, that's the allegation. It came up then, but it occurred allegedly during the Obama White House. James Comer said the U.S. Attorney's Office in Delaware has been investigating this as part of its probe into alleged crimes by Hunter Biden. Democrat Jamie Raskin was trying to claim that that was not the case, that AG Barr had dropped it. Miranda.
Well, look, I think what James Comer said was that his assumption was, when he was told by the FBI that this document was being used in a current investigation, his assumption was that that was something in Delaware, but that may not be correct. He said that that was just an assumption. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's just getting into sort of ancillary tidbits about it. What matters is that this is a credible whistleblower. This is also an informant that has been a paid FBI informant for a decade, has been paid 6 figures, James Comer said, and this person has come forward with this information about Joe Biden's behaviour when he was vice president. And this person, this informant, told the FBI about this in July of 2020. And there was a lot of information. I believe this particular informant is from Ukraine, and there was a lot of information coming out of Ukraine, and it's really possibly the real Achilles heel for President Biden, which is why the Democrats have done so much to muddy the waters.
That's what Miranda just reported. Let's get your reaction to this sound from Congressman Comer and Raskin. Watch this today.
At the briefing, the FBI again refused to hand over the unclassified record to the custody of the House Oversight Committee. And we will now initiate contempt of Congress hearings this Thursday. It suggests a pattern of bribery where payments would be made through shell accounts and multiple banks. And there's a term for that. It's called money laundering. We feel that this accusation is consistent with a pattern that we're seeing, frankly, in other countries, too. The investigation is not dead. This is only the beginning. It appears this investigation is part of an ongoing investigation, which I assume is in Delaware. We believe there are multiple documents.
What I know is that the FBI Department of Justice team under William Barr and Scott Brady in the Western District of Pennsylvania terminated the investigation.
But Congressman Steube, the sources are saying that's not true. Your reaction?
Yeah, and if they terminated the investigation, then they should absolutely give us this documents and this evidence without holding it back and then claiming that, oh, we can't give it to you because it's part of an ongoing investigation. So either he's lying about that or Director Wray is lying about whether they can give us the information or not without a subpoena.
So, you know, Miranda, a recent Harvard-Harris poll, 53% of Americans believe Joe Biden was involved in a legal influence peddling scheme while he was vice president. 25% of Democrats believe that. Under the, you know, it started in 2016, where based on unvetted gossip, unsubstantiated information, the Trump campaign was investigated. Trump Russia, we saw that, right? We saw that happen. But now it's circling the wagons when you have a serious allegation alleging bribery against the sitting president.
It's a very serious allegation, and the FBI has had this allegation for 3 years, and seemingly it's told James Comer the reason that they can't hand over this unclassified document is because the investigation is ongoing. For 3 years it's been ongoing. So that would seem to contradict what Jamie Raskin is talking about, saying that the Western District of Pennsylvania under Bill Barr closed that investigation. Clearly people within the DOJ are leaking to Jamie Raskin. And clearly what he's being told is at odds with what the FBI, presumably Chris Wray, has been telling James Comer and the Oversight Committee. So either the FBI has stopped investigating this 1023 document or it's part of an ongoing investigation. Which is it?
Yeah, that's what Miranda, which is it? I mean, let's back up. There have been government documents showing the Biden family using, we counted at least 24 off-balance sheet shell companies to take in cash flows from overseas, from foreign nations. It's unclear what they were selling. 24 FBI and IRS whistleblowers telling Congress there's bias in favor of President Biden inside the DOJ, inside the FBI, also IRS whistleblowers saying the same thing. You had John Durham's special counsel report. The DOJ IG detailed how the FBI under James Comey broke its own rules, Congressman, in targeting the Trump campaign. Again, based on unverified gossip from unvetted sources, from information paid for by the DNC and Hillary campaign. So how is it that they can then circle the wagons around what former President and Vice President Biden was doing and bury the evidence? We've got the allegations of that at the FBI.
Yeah, all of those things that you just said are correct, and we have a complete weaponization of the FBI and the DOJ that are going to use an unverified document to surveil and go after a Republican candidate for the United States presidency. And then you have a situation where there's prima facie evidence all over everywhere of crimes that Hunter Biden has committed, and now possibly the president, sitting president, while he was vice president, has committed. And then you have the DOJ and the FBI refusing to even give those documents to Congress for oversight.
The American people deserve answers. They deserve transparency.
Absolutely.
Miranda, let's get your reaction to former FBI Director Comey out with a remarkably biased comment about former President Trump. Watch this.
Can you envision a scenario where Trump manages to win back the White House and justice is delayed?
I could. I don't want to, but I could. I mean, it's this crazy world that Donald Trump has dragged this country into, but he could be wearing an ankle bracelet while accepting the nomination at the Republican convention. Think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies. I'm sure I'm on the enemies list. It has to be Joe Biden. And I'm glad he's willing to serve.
What do you think, Miranda?
Well, he's obviously being self-serving because he knows that right now he's escaped any accountability. But if Trump were to come back to the White House, there would be, no stone left unturned to ensure that James Comey, who really began all this rot in the FBI by, for some clumsy reason, partisan reason maybe, who knows, he politicised the whole Clinton investigation and then tried to make amends by then going after Trump. And then, the FBI was then tainted forever, and every single political investigation that came before it was mishandled, whether it be sheltering Joe Biden or whether it be targeting Donald Trump. They all had, at the top of the FBI, a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome. I think they still believe that they were doing the right thing, and that's what they have to keep telling themselves, that they are the heroes. But the fact is now I think that the cover-up, the story of the FBI, CIA, DOJ cover-up is a bigger story than the initial story of corruption.
Yeah, it feels like election interference, right? Final word.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Got it. Congressman Steube, Miranda Devine, thanks for joining us. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.